Alright guys, we're back for part 4 of the Just Read offensive scheme. So far we have broken down our base play and the rest of the formation bunch halfback strong. We've also looked at our audibles and pretty much finished up with all of that. So the last thing is going to be the remaining audibles, which is 3 of them. The first one I like personally is just FL screen. You guys all know how to run this. I mean, there's a couple ways you can run it, but for the most part, just put the halfback on a flat and put the right side wide receiver on a fade or something like that. And then optional, you can put this tight end on a streak, or you can put him on a whip, or you can block him as well, whatever. And you can also slide protect right. That's entirely up to you. But you just make a quick pass to the halfback. Let your blocks develop, and as you can see, you just got a potential to get a lot of yards. And this is effective against a ton of types of defenses. So this play is definitely one that is very popular, so don't think you're gonna probably catch someone off guard, but at the same time you can catch someone off guard within a game if you are running hurry up or something like that and they haven't seen it all game. If you just saved it up or whatever, definitely something you can catch them with. Definitely something you can get a lot of yards and get a real big play one time with, and something you can pick up short yards sometimes as well. So really just depends. But again, it's just a real simple play, very effective, however, and you know, it's tough to stop. Definitely tough to stop. It's one of those plays that you have to, as a defense, actually have people in that area, or you're going to get a big play for the offense. And if you're not ready defensively, if you haven't adjusted your defense, if you haven't moved your guys, if you're worried about stopping something else, this is one of those plays that is going to be a real pain in your neck. Definitely a play you can run a few more times as well if your opponent doesn't adjust or whatnot. So, you know, that's the FL screen. Another thing you can do, I mean, I'll go into more detail with this formation, but, you know, this is the free ebook, and I really don't want to give you guys too much information to swallow as well. So, again, you can go ahead and just audible to the screen, jeez. But go ahead and audible into the quick draw and pick up some yards that way. As well, another thing you can do is basically just run some curl flats with the quick audible, and again, those curls and those flats are going to basically complement one another. And then the deep audible, again, you can just kind of run some man beaters and whatnot out of that. And then out of the play action, you have those delay or those comeback routes that you can use to be effective as well. So you can kind of mess with all that stuff. Not going to go too deep in all that. But definitely, obviously, you can kind of see which routes you're going to look at. So for the screen, of course, your main routes is going to be the halfback. And then your second route, I would say, if you streak the tight end, it would be him. And then you can also put like Brian on the drag or something like that. Out of the quick pass, it's about the curl flat concept. Out of the run, obviously running the ball. Deep pass, you could just kind of run whatever. I really wouldn't run the deep pass. You can kind of create a bunch of streaks and a fade yourself. And then the play action, the main routes you're going to look at is going to be those 2 comebacks, and then you can put the other 3 guys on whatever you want. So that's going to be what we're going to run out of the gun doubles on, and that's how I run it. The next 2 formations for me, for a while, I was running the Niner heavy power O. This doesn't matter. Whatever this play is, it's just going to be a run play. One thing to keep in mind, you're not going to get great blocking. I'm going to show you why right now. Because when you audible into your run play, that slot wide receiver, who's actually your super speedster, is going to be your fullback. But if you do have a fullback dive or something, that might be nice. He might fumble. Be careful of that. But at the same time, it's definitely a nice thing. And sometimes him being a bad blocker can actually help. This is very rare. But once in a while, what'll happen is that the guy will block shed him, but as he block sheds, you run past him, and then your weak blocker actually ends up picking up the next line of defense, and you get to run past him as well, untouched. So he essentially takes out 2 lines of defense, and you actually end up getting a much bigger play than you would have if you would have had a good blocker that just picked up the first guy, and then that second guy actually picked you up. For some reason, when I run this stretch, the blocking is absolutely terrible. But again, sometimes, you know, it works out well and you get a huge gain. So it just really depends on the defense. But use that run. Just keep them real honest. And again, out of that, you might just want to look at your quick audibles for whatever formation you decide to go with, and just kind of look at what's going to work. You know, you can do some pass lead streaks. You can run the other quick run audible, run maybe a deep pass. I like the deep pass out of the here. I broke down a play very similar to this last year, but the main route again you're going to look at is going to be that corner route and then the trail. So we can go ahead and look at this real quick. This is the angle play out of the iForm Pro, iForm Tight. And again, the main route you're going to look at is going to be Murray and Witten. You can also look at Bryant a little bit, or you can put Bryant on a different route, and then you can kind of put Austin and Ogletree on pretty much whatever you want. You can go ahead and get the pass lead streak here to the fullback. Various things you can do there. And then with that corner route, all you need to do is just make sure it's wide open. Don't throw it if he ends up being guarded, because it will get picked off. But if he gets left, like most of the time he will, you can go ahead and get a nice pickup there as well. And that's going to pretty much wrap up the iForm Tight. Sorry if I'm going over this too quick, but the thing is, the main formation is that gun bunch strong. And as well, this is a free ebook. If it was paid, I'd probably take a little bit more time with this. But I think you guys get the concepts and you get the idea, and you kind of get where I'm going with this. Now, the last audible is this play out of the ace close, and this easily could have a video on its own. But the quick audible from here is decent, but you can't motion anybody, so that's going to shorten this up quite a bit. As well, I don't like the run play out of here. I may run it a little bit, but very rarely. I'm not a huge fan of this run play. They don't block very well out of it for some reason, as you'll probably see here. Again, they just don't block that well. It's not that good of a run play. Not one that I'm going to probably run throughout the course of the game more than one time. Now, the other things we can look at here, we got the deep pass audible, which is bench. But the reason I kind of don't like bench is because these guys are on the outside, the defenders, those corners. And what you're going to see is they're actually going to play the outside very well. They locked it up. Most of the time, the benefit of the bench play is that the guy's either on top of them or on the inside of them. So, you know, if we did run this, we'll just look at Bryant, for example, and this corner, they moved him inside like this, then the bench play is probably going to work. I mean, DRC is a beast, so he locked it up anyway, but maybe the bench would work. But seeing as we're always going to get that inside position, bench is just not that lovely of a play for those outside guys to go to the outside, so I really don't run that. So we don't typically run the deep pass. As far as the play action goes, I mean, this play is okay, but again, I'm not a huge fan of it. Nothing in particular that just sticks out to me that makes me want to run this play. Oops, let's go ahead and get back into this, and we can just look at those routes again. And again, it's really just about analyzing which routes you think are going to be effective. For this play, I got a corner, I kind of got a slantish looking thing and a deep end. Only thing that looks kind of nice is the deep end from Austin. So I guess if you wanted that, you can go ahead and pass lead that down and run it. But for the most part, we're just going to stick to this audible here as far as when we get in this play and mix up the heck. Mix up the heck out of the hot routes. Some of my favorites personally are slant in the outside receiver on the left, put this inside guy on a fade and streak this guy. Another one I like is to do something like this. Basically streak the two outside guys, whip one of those guys and put the other one on a slant. Or what I'll do is something like this. I'll put a drag on the right side from that guy and then slant that left guy and leave that running back on a flat. But basically just mess around in practice mode and figure out which route combos are going to work great for you against various types of defenses. And you will definitely find a lot of success with this play. Like, honestly, it's a beastie play. It just destroys man defense. So many different things you can do. What guys will tend to do is start moving these guys over to try to get the man press. And then when they do that, just make sure you got those inside guys doing stuff that's going to get loose as well, because they will get open. And as long as they get open, it's going to be tough. And then also when you do this, Try to quick hike if possible, because it does take a little bit of time to go from this guy over to here. Not too much time, but if they got to set up other stuff on their D, it's going to take some time, but that will actually take away the pass leads here. But as you can see, if they don't have safety help and they're just kind of running a two-man under, something like this, maybe you've been hitting them with those inside pass leads and they do something like this. These actual outside wide receivers can get loose over the top too. So it's not just like they're limited to pass lead. If there's no help over the top, you can definitely get loose. Right there was just unfortunate, because what ended up happening was Romo threw a terrible pass, as Romo tends to do. But as you can see here, man, he just gets a step on him, can lob it over the top, and that's easy money right there. And then as well, so with this play, what you're mainly looking at is this angle route, and then for everything else, you can kind of do what you want. I kind of like this, putting Austin on the drag here. He gets that inside position, and as you can see, with that much room on his defender, he just gets nice separation. We can also kind of run a drag from the left, I think. I don't know if it's quite as effective, but we can go ahead and look at it one time real quick. But he's got DRC on him, but he bumped into his own man. But then if he does catch up to him, the other thing you can do is always playmaker that drag up. So who did he run into? I think he ran into Witten that time. Maybe we'll run something like this. And this time he doesn't run into somebody. But even if he does, that dude's making up some ground. So you may want to just go with the playmaker on the left. Whereas on the right side, you may not have to playmaker. Just kind of read where the defender is. If the defender keeps up with them, do the playmaker. If he doesn't, go ahead and just make the pass lead it up, and get as many yards as you can. Now again, this is some real basic stuff, no crazy concepts here, but all this stuff works very effectively, and it just takes advantage of what the defense gives us. Make sure you always got a quick pass here or there. On the outside, again, you can always put one of these guys on a streak and just inside pass lead it on either one of those guys. I believe you can do it with the tight ends as well. So you basically have 4 guys that you can inside pass lead to. I think, let's see if Ogletree can get loose here. And he does. So just a lot of things you can do to beat man out of this play. Now let's go ahead and look at it against zone defense and just kind of see what we can do to attack it a little bit. Not going to again spend too much time in here. The concepts are real easy. It's basically just going to be about putting together route combinations that are effective for yourself. So that's going to be the main thing. Now here, if they're in a cover 3, again, you can get these inside pass leads. They are just deadly on the outside. You can also go with the inside on those. Got a hand on a streak here. And just pass lead streaks. It's just nasty. You can get loose with those. This drag route, as he gets underneath some of these zones, you can go ahead and hit him. And just really just take advantage of whatever the heck the defense wants to do to stop you, and make sure you take advantage of it. Right here, we got that flat from the running back, and then he's going to suck down the flat, and then we got a slant over there. So something like this might be nice. Maybe put a drag here, something like that. And X is going to end up being open once he gets to that side of the field. As you can see here, just wait for him to pass that hook zone. But, yeah, man, that's really it. That's really going to wrap up this scheme. That is what I run offensively. I'll probably finish the year running this just because it works, it's effective, and as long as I run the offense properly, it's unstoppable. But it's about me running the offense properly. Not saying that any individual play or any individual combination of routes is unstoppable, because that doesn't happen this year. There is a counter for everything. But if you adjust offensively, make new hot routes, get your user catching down, make the right reads, and just play smart, efficient football, you're going to put yourself in a very, very good position to win the ball game. Sometimes you can get these corner routes too against various zones with the nice little pass lead down or something like that. But again, guys, this is the offense I've been running, winning a lot of money with this. I mean, not a lot of money, but a lot of money games. Played more money games than money I won, most likely. Been burned a few times, probably at 200 worth in burns at this point. But that's a whole nother story for another day. And I'll be making a video on why stealing schemes and stuff isn't cool too. But again, that's another video. whole another 15 minutes or whatever. But if you guys enjoyed this series, man, be sure to, subscribe for more and leave some thumbs up and leave in the comments how you enjoyed it. And if you have any specific questions, go ahead and leave those below as well. Again, I do run this with teams that have more elite quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are mobile or just good QBs overall. The Eli Mannings, Rodgers, Kaepernicks. Rodgers, again, I think he's probably the best QB to me. Him and Kaepernick with teams that are good as well. Cutler, a bunch of different teams can run this offense without a problem, and you'll be good to go just as long as they have a decent QB and some guys that are fast, some guys that can catch and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. It's definitely a lot of different teams that can run this. I've run this with the Raiders before. I've run this with a bunch of different teams. So don't think just the elite teams can run it. But if you are playing at the highest level, playing for money and things like that, you're probably going to be playing Niners, or Packers, Niners, or Seahawks, something like that. One of those teams. And, those teams all have QBs that can run this offense and personnel that can run this offense. So you're not going to have any problems. Again, this isn't a beginner's offense. But at the same time, beginners you guys can run this as well. It's a very simple offense. And it's just about making the right reads and adjustments and things like that. So, hopefully you guys will have a lot of success with this. I know I have had success against all levels of competition. So don't think that this is only going to work against, lower ranked opponents. This will work in the top 10. This will work in money games. This will work against the best of the best. I promise you, I've played some of the best players out there. Had some real tough games with Nick Jagger. The offense worked against him. Played Serious Mo. T-Raw, Dream, IMAV, ranked games, money games, all that stuff. I've ran this offense and I've had success. And, most guys that are good and elite, they all have offenses that is very similar. It's as long as they make their right reads, as long as they run the offense that they brought to the table well and do those things that I've talked about throughout this series, making the right hot routes and reads and whatnot. They all pretty much feel the same way, that their offense is unstoppable, and they should, because this is an offensive game. And then, again, defensively, it's about adjusting and trying to just get those few stops that are critical to winning a ball game. But that's going to wrap it up, folks. Again, leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more. And until the next time, guys, we gone.